www.salaam.co.uk. Bright Bambini Montessori.
Third world and developing countries are home to some of the most vulnerable children on the planet. Malnutrition, severe lack of medical aid and access to clean water are just some of the horrific challenges faced by orphans across Africa and Asia. Children of Adam, a Peterborough charity, need your help to bring aid to these orphans for just £25 a month. To sponsor an orphan or assist with other projects, please call 0300 321 0032 or visit www.childrenofadam.net.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
Need a great place to chill out? Look no further than The Lounge for quality food and drinks at a great price. Try our varied menu: pasta, seafood, burgers, grills, salad, soup, rice and sides. Also hot and cold drinks, milkshakes and mocktails. Leave room for our exquisite desserts. The Lounge, 417 Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call 01733 709 306 to order for delivery. The Lounge, friendly service with a great atmosphere.
Need car parts quickly and at a great price? City Auto Parts offer competitive prices, trade accounts and a delivery service in and around Peterborough. For all your parts and accessories requirements, visit City Auto Parts, 30 Fitzwilliam Street, Peterborough, PE1 2RX. Call us on 01733 347711 or visit www.cityautoparts.co.uk.
This is Salaam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Assalamu alaikum listeners, brothers and sisters, welcome back to Salaam Radio after a very interesting show from my brothers Akil and Hamid for Let's Talk. Hope you enjoyed that show. We're going to continue the evening's entertainment for you with a very different show today. You are listening, of course, to Friday Night Prime with me, Amr Suleiman. On my own this week, Brother Faisal is unfortunately unable to join us this week, but you're listening as ever to Salaam Radio 106.2 FM. A warm welcome as always to our Inspire FM listeners in Luton on 105.1, and of course as always we're Facebook Live, YouTube Live, online at salamradio.co.uk, and of course via our iPhone and Android apps. We're always on air for you 24/7 365, uniting all communities. As I always like to remind our listeners, Salaam Radio is all about creating unity within the Muslim and wider community and delivering the positive message of true Islam and promoting peace and harmony. So with that in mind, please do make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search for Salaam Radio and you'll see the purple logo. It couldn't be easier. Now, as usual, you can get involved with today's show. As with all our shows, you can WhatsApp us on 07745 278 978, or you can give us a call and we'll have you through on the studio line on 01733 602 133. Or if you're watching on Facebook Live, you can send us a Facebook Live message. Now, the first show, the first Friday Night Prime of 2018, brings us a very interesting discussion coming up with Ivan Humble, a regular on Salaam Radio. Actually, he's been with us a few times now. He's an ex-EDL regional organiser and now combats hate and extremism in all its forms. And Hayan Baba, first time with us, who's Executive Director of the Muslim Experience in World War I. And we'll be discussing their respective work, how they met, a recent tour to France they both went on that took a tour around the Muslim contribution in World War I, everything around that, and of course we'll be discussing the significance of this commemoration. We'll be discussing that and a lot more, and plenty of opportunities for you to get involved with Ivan and Hayan in a few minutes, and that will be right after this track from Wakas, one of my favourites. This is 1 Foot in the Sink.
In preschool, I was kind of a dork. The other kids were like, why is it you can't eat pork? I wasn't good at sports, so I never got picked. And what's up with the kebab on the rye bread? Ew, that's sick. We didn't celebrate Christmas at home, so I danced around the prayer rug in my room alone. When Ummi said, beta, go pray your salah, I used to sit on the rug with a comic book on the side. I mean, life was pretty okay, a little confusing at worst. More like a blessing, nothing at all like a curse. I was a little chubby kid, so innocent, just trying to find a balance with 1 foot in the sink. 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 Yeah, we're striking the pose, and we're trying to find a balance in the world so cold. Behold. Things got a bit more weird in high school. The kids were like, why don't you drink like the rest of us do? Here's Life is a blessing, life is a challenge. Life is striking a balance between dunya and deen, between the seen and the yet to be seen. Life is getting up on the scene with a dunya progress, and you will take shots daily, trust me, and make Shaitan so mad that he will come for you with everything that he got. So till the day we die, we ponder and think, just trying to find a balance with 1 foot in the sink.
World, a father loses his child.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Apologies for that slight technical hiccup there. We've been trying to sort out some sound issues. I've been told we're a bit crackly on Facebook, but I've been reliably informed that we've got someone remotely accessing the system now to sort that out. So any Facebook listeners right now or viewers, please be assured that we will sort that out in the next few minutes, inshallah. Now, I was saying before that we're joined this week by Ivan Humble, ex-EDL regional organiser and now somebody who does amazing work, which you'll come to know during the course of the show, and Hayan Baba, who's Executive Director of the Muslim Experience in World War I, among many other things. So let me give you a quick kind of synopsis of Ivan and Hayan, and then we'll jump into a conversation which I think you'll find very, very interesting. So Ivan was a leading active member of the far right from 2009 when he joined the EDL, which we all know as the English Defence League, and starting out as a foot soldier, but quickly worked his way up to the role of regional organiser for the East Anglia region. Now, since leaving the far right in 2014, he's been active in various communities within East Anglia, and he also uses his knowledge and understanding to highlight and combat radicalisation and all forms of extremism, and campaigns against racism and hate crime. And Ivan now talks about his personal journey after seeing through his hate and works to break down barriers and tackles the many misconceptions of his misguided hate, hoping to help others to change their views to live a normal, hate-free life. So a very, very important and significant story that Ivan's got to share. And also joining us is Hayan, who is the Executive Director of the Muslim Experience in World War I, and he qualified as a barrister in 2010 and became a parliamentary researcher. And during this time, he independently ran the all-party parliamentary group on Islamophobia, and more recently co-founded the all-party parliamentary group on British Muslims, while being the group's secretary until the end of last year. Hayan is also an independent member of the cross-government anti-Muslim hatred working group, that's a mouthful, and advising ministers and policy officials on tackling Islamophobia, among other things. Gentlemen, welcome to Friday Night Brian.
Thank you very much. Salaam alaikum. Thank you.
Welcome, Salaam. Good to have you, Ivan, in the studio at last.
Yeah, finally, after all this
Finally,
time.
you've been on the show many times. I've lost count, but to have you in the studio is fantastic. So thanks for taking the journey up here. And Hayan, welcome for the first time to you.
Thank you.
In terms of coming up from London, right?
Thank you very much. Yeah, and actually I've got connections to Peterborough. I went to college here, and my parents live just down the road, so
yeah,
I'm glad to be back.
That's great. I had no idea until I just met you that you had a connection to Peterborough, which is great. So, gentlemen, listen, we've got a good amount of time, but I want to make sure we cover all the pertinent points of what we need to talk about. So, the first question is, how did you guys meet? How did it all start?
Johnny Sellers?
Yeah, go for it.
It's thanks to Riaz Khan, really. I think he offered me a chance to go on a trip to France.
So Riaz Khan, this is he's based in Leicester, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It should be well known to most of my listeners.
Yeah, yeah, he's everywhere on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, Riaz invited me to go to France with him.
Okay.
To be fair, when I accepted the invite, I didn't really know what it was about. I just said, yeah, it's a trip out with Riaz, so I went. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it turned out that I was the token white man. Apart from this, jokes aside, but no, that's kind of, I was the only real non-Muslim there, apart from the staff.
Right.
But it didn't really make a difference because within 10 minutes being on the coach, everybody was talking and it was all cheerful.
Yeah.
And that's how we met, sat on the coach.
Fantastic.
And I didn't realise that he was the man behind it. That sort of.
Oh, you didn't know that when you met him?
No, I thought Riaz was something to do with it. Do you know what I mean? Because Riaz always makes him out to be a big man, doesn't he?
I don't know if he's listening. Do you know if he's listening tonight?
I did tell him I'm on here.
Oh, okay. I bet he is listening. I'm sure he is.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
So listen, this tour you went on, I mean, it's fascinating, and I think it's one that we all should take time out and go on, because it just opens your eyes, doesn't it, in terms of exactly what went on. But I suppose the obvious question is, how long's the tour been running, and what does the itinerary involve? I mean, what can people expect from this tour?
Okay, so the visit that Ivan mentioned, it's a tour by the Forgotten Heroes 1419 Foundation,
right?
With a fantastic award-winning tour operator called Anglia Tours.
Okay.
And this tour group that Ivan was part of, with Riaz and 40 plus other people,
yeah,
was put together by an organisation called the Muslim Heritage Trust UK.
Okay. Right.
And our tour, so they came on this tour with us, and we take people to the battlefields, the cemeteries, and the sites that show the diversity in the World War I effort.
Right.
So that includes not just the Muslim soldiers and their burial sites, the field hospital sites, the battlefield sites,
yeah, but
also that of the Indian soldiers, Chinese, the Egyptians,
right,
the South Africans also.
Okay.
And it's mainly to give the passengers of the tour, participants, an idea of the diversity and a new appreciation of the effort into the history and security of Europe.
So is that the ultimate objective of the tour, really? It's just for people to realise how diverse it was. And I mean, there's obviously more to it than that, right?
Yep.
You're commemorating these people as well.
Yep.
But why do you feel it's important, not just now in our trying times that we're in for Muslims, but why is it important, do you think, to commemorate this?
Well, I mean, obviously we're 100 years into we're in the centenary, so it's 100 years since the First World War, and there hasn't really been, in our opinion, a real recognition of the Muslim soldiers or the people from other parts of the world in this war. I guess a better way to put it would be to see how children might look at it and learn about it in school. So in my example, when I learnt about history in the First World War, I used to think, why do we call it World War One? It's like a European war.
Yeah.
And then, of course, but that's because we're taught a very sort of narrow view, a narrow sort of history about the First World War in our curriculum. But that's because the topic's so big.
Right.
And so I think that recognising the diversity in the First World War and showing and teaching a true and more accurate history of the First World War can change people's perceptions of the First World War, but also I think that it can bring people of different communities, natures and cultures together. And so that's why we did it. And I wonder what Ivan's views on that might be, because I think someone coming, you know, I think it'd be quite interesting to hear his view on that.
Yeah, my view is, well, to be fair, when I was first on the coach and we were talking, I did think it was just going to be a Muslim thing, that I wouldn't really relate to anything.
Okay.
It wasn't until I think we went to the first graveyard we went to. We had a look around there, then we walked battlefields first, wasn't it?
Yep.
When we walked around the battlefields and we listened to the guide tell us what was going on, you could kind of imagine, because you're there, you can kind of imagine the stories they were telling, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay.
And the first thing I noticed from that thing is there was no us and them.
Right.
There was really no divide. Because people needed each other, they just worked with each other. It's like the biggest thing for me in the first cemetery was how the non-Muslims, the Jews, people of no faith, Muslims, are all buried together. They weren't like, I honestly thought there'd be Muslims there, Jews there, things like that, but they requested to be buried next to each other.
Okay.
Because that brotherhood feeling was back there was quite strong. And it's like when we were in school, I didn't learn nothing about that. You learn about the war, but you don't go into detail enough.
No, you don't. But how did that make you feel? I mean, you went out there probably with your eyes wide open, just kind of open to absorb whatever experiences were going to come your way. But how did it make you feel?
A bit shocked, really, because when the first bit we were there, we'd done the battlefields. We had a bit of a laugh as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Then we'd done the graveyard, and then we went to this the Circle of Remembrance. I think it was
the Ring of Remembrance.
The Ring of Remembrance.
Okay.
And I stood near the guide because I felt, and I'm going to be honest here, that there's 1.5 million names on there that it wouldn't resonate with me.
Okay.
And this guide said, Ivan, go around about 3/4 of the way. He even pointed where.
Yeah.
That's where H's start, and have a look. And I found 5 people with my surname.
Wow.
So from that,
the
tour changed for me.
Yeah.
I embraced it more because...
And you probably felt more connected then, right, at that point?
That's what I knew. As soon as I got that connection there, the rest of the tour was brilliant.
Wow.
It was fascinating. To be fair, I think it could have been done with an extra day.
So how long was the tour?
2 days.
It was 2 days, yeah. Okay.
That's just me enjoying the buzz. I think an extra day would have been good.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot to take in.
Okay.
And some of the stories we heard were unbelievable.
Wow. So, Hayan, how did it all start? When did the idea for the tour begin? How far back does this go? And the foundation, the 1419?
1419 foundation.
Yeah, foundation. So tell us the story behind that. How did that all come to fruition?
Okay, so I'll start with the 1419.
Yeah.
The reason why we're called the Forgotten Heroes 1419 Foundation is because we're looking at commemorating the contribution of Muslim soldiers for the Allied forces in the First World War. Okay. And what we found is that for those soldiers, the colonial troops, is that their story doesn't end in 1918.
Right.
It's 1917. It ends in 1918. It ends in 1919. They were fighting in the skirmishes after Armistice Day for another year.
Yes.
So hence the name 1419.
Yeah.
So the foundation started about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And the chairman came across his great grandfather's journals, and in his journals he references so many Muslim soldiers.
Right.
And so that piqued his interest. He started asking questions, asking historians, and eventually looking in the archives and finding, eventually, we found 850,000 unique documents that in Urdu, Hebrew, Farsi, and other languages, French, English.
Okay.
And it shows, we found that at least 2.5 million Muslim soldiers fought for the Allied soldiers, all from globally from the world.
Amazing.
So more than 2 million from Middle East and North Africa.
Yeah.
25,000 in the Chinese Labour Corps. 400,000 from the Indian subcontinent. 5,000 Muslims in the US.
Really?
Yeah, joined the US forces.
That's surprising, isn't it?
Which was an incredible find for us as well. And so many tens of thousands and more from other parts of the world as well.
Wow. It's a very educational subject, to be honest, because not a lot of people would, as you said, Ivan, not a lot of people would necessarily know this.
Nobody realises our shared history.
Exactly.
Because we're not taught about it.
No. So the people that attend the tours, is it a mixed bunch? I mean, you've got Muslims, non-Muslims, no faith. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It's a complete cross-section of...
So the tour that we did in November for Remembrance Sunday, or the week before Remembrance Sunday, which is the tour that Ivan came on, that was our first one that we did with Muslim Heritage Trust.
Okay.
We are now promoting the tours to schools, to mosques, to other places of worship.
So I think the next one's in November, is that right?
No, we'll be doing them throughout the year.
Oh, so throughout the year?
If any groups would like to come on, or school groups, adult groups, historians, or people who are just interested in learning a new part of history about World War I, especially now while we're in the buzz of the centenary, they can get in touch with us on our website, Facebook, etc.
Can you tell us what the website is, so they can?
It's the website is the Muslim Experience in World War I.
Okay.
And if you go to that's just about the project generally. For the tours, you go to angliatours.co.uk or .com, and you'll see our tour displayed on there, and you can get in touch.
Fantastic, that's great. So there's obviously a reason for this tour in terms of educational perspective and just the shared history and the diversity of the soldiers, etc. But how do you feel the tour helps deal with the growing problem of Islamophobia and extremism generally, both far right and religious? How does that help?
I mean, in my view, I think it helps people to realise that they can. Okay, so let's say for say a young child that might not have the exposure to Muslims, they may view Muslims differently now, rather than believing the first thing they hear about Muslims, say from a right-wing newspaper or from a right-wing commentator or say a right-wing activist.
Right.
And similarly, I think for young Muslim children, when they learn this information about their heritage, I think it gives them a newfound confidence.
Okay.
It will also give them tools to challenge far-right narratives, but also the sort of clash of civilizations narratives that not just some far-right activists might push, but also sometimes religious extremists might push.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they can turn around and, we can equip them with that kind of information. Another example might be if somebody says, "Oh, we voted you out during Brexit."
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't belong in Europe. Well, a Muslim kid will say, "Well, actually, loads of my ancestors or people who would relate to me fought for you and died for you, so you could have the freedom to say that to me today."
And that is a powerful counter-argument, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Extremely powerful.
Yeah,
and
it's
informed
probably the best thing out there.
Yeah, it is.
Because you've seen that every November on Facebook there's that one picture that go around with 30,000 Muslims.
Right.
I kind of believed that for years.
Really?
Until I went out there, because I said to you on the tour, I said, I couldn't believe how many Muslim soldiers there were. Not just, they're just from everywhere, weren't they?
Yeah.
And it's the way that, when you listen to the personal stories from that guy, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
He honestly makes you believe that you're sat there with them.
Wow.
How they're trying to do their chicken on the battlefield, or how they're waiting on the gun platforms. It was amazing.
So he kind of brings it to life, right?
It does bring it to life.
Takes you back there almost.
That's right.
Because you've got that better understanding that, well, for me, I kind of changed my views anyway, but if I was of my own mindset and I went on that, I kind of would, I probably wouldn't be best friends with Muslims, but I'd have a better understanding of how it weren't just my grandfather, it was their grandfather as well.
Yeah.
I think that's what we forget about.
Yeah.
We forget about for years I've been saying that, we concentrate on fighting the differences and not working on the common ground, where I think is where the solutions are going to come from in the end.
Absolutely. And something you said to me once, Ivan, which always sticks with me, is that there's too many labels for people. You've said it many times to me.
I'd say it all the time for the last 3 or 4 years I've been saying it.
Absolutely.
And finally people are starting to listen to me now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And we'll come on to the excellent work that you do, and you both do, actually, in a moment. But, Hayan, I understand there's a book coming out later this month, right?
That's right.
Can you tell us more about that book?
Yep. So in this book, which I think we're going to receive delivery of in about a week or so it'll be ready for distribution pretty soon.
Okay.
We've revealed very little about it so far.
Okay.
Deliberately, but it's going to contain approximately just short of 200 pages or so of never seen before images and documents from the First World War. So it could be field reports.
Wow. Never seen before.
Yep, never seen before. We haven't. Most of these we haven't tweeted or shared on Facebook or whatever.
Okay.
We haven't talked about them yet. Some of them include directives from generals and politicians at the time in Europe that say very positive things about the Muslim soldiers.
Okay.
It's got maps. It paints a very good picture of that shows some of that diversity. But it's important to note this is a coffee table book, so it's thought provoking. It's got images, it's got visual aids and quotes, and it brings this information together. So we're hoping that as soon as it's with us, that people will take interest in it and buy it. And we also have a website for that too. So people should check that out.
I think it's important to let. So what's the book called?
The book is called The Unknown Fallen. And that's the website. It's the unknownfallen.com.
Yeah, I did take a look at that, actually. It's an interesting site.
Yeah.
Well put together. And
thanks.
Even though it's a coffee table book, I can imagine, or I would hope, they could actually be used, would you say, in schools?
Absolutely, because...
Definitely. I've seen a sort of a preview of it, and I think it's excellent.
Yeah?
That is the sort of thing that you need in schools. It just gives you that extra thing that they don't teach.
Yeah. And it's designed to make the reader... think. It's designed deliberately to provoke them, because they're going to be presented with information that they may not associate with World War One and Muslims and everything in between.
Sure.
And so we hope that when they look at this book and open this book, they'll read it and stop and pause and maybe take a step back, or maybe zoom in a little bit more and take an interest in it. So it's not something to read, but it also goes with our philosophy. We don't believe that young people, when we want to teach them about the First World War or any part of history, they don't want to be spoon-fed with hundreds and thousands of words or leaflets and more literature. Let's tell them the story by letting them experience it, and that's also as part of the tour. You've got to experience it, see it, believe it, smell it, to see what it was like.
And you kind of do as well, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
So one of the things we did on the tour actually was walk through recreated trenches.
Oh wow!
Along some of the original trench lines on the Western Front.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's fascinating because you couldn't believe how close the opposing sides were. It's literally just stone throw.
Yeah, they're literally meters away.
Is that how close they were?
Yeah, that's how close they were.
That's fascinating.
It was for us, but it was a bit muddy. Me and Riaz wanted to go play, but it was a bit muddy, so we didn't.
and then we sort of put the questions to the participants in the tour. You know, okay, what do you think? How do you think Muslim soldiers were dealing with fasting? Or were dealing with their 5 daily prayers? You know, so we'd ask the provocative questions to the group, and then the tour guides would tell them what the actual answer is.
I bet it was quite interesting, some of the responses you get. I would imagine.
Absolutely, because I mean, I don't want to give any away. I think
of course.
People come on the tour.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry for the shameless plug. I'm gonna say, if you want to find out, come on the tour. But
always leave them wanting more. That's what they say.
Absolutely.
No, that's great. We've got about a minute until an ad break, but
actually, I'll tell you what. I can tell them that story about that ridge.
Yes, do it.
No, you can do it because I can't remember it all. Where the Muslim soldiers took up for 2 days and then they had to withdraw.
Yeah, so it's Vimy Ridge, which is, I know we've got about 45 seconds.
Yeah. So this was the most interesting story.
So I can't remember the details, but it was the Germans controlled this ridge. The Americans wanted to. I think the Europeans wanted to take it. They couldn't. The Canadians tried to take it. They couldn't. But the Moroccans came and they did it.
Oh,
right, and there's a Moroccan memorial. I mean, I'm being very brief on the details.
Sure.
But it's worth checking out. And there's a huge Moroccan memorial right by the Canadian memorial.
Is there?
At Vimy Ridge. And it's definitely worth seeing. And that's something that we go and see as well.
I think I'm going to have to go on this tour myself because it just sounds intriguing. Listeners, do stay with us, please, for more from Ivan and Hayan after the break. And we're going to be talking about their work that they do, which is intriguing as well, inshallah.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
The Truly Scrumptious Group presents the East Meets West Wedding Show, a free event on Sunday the 14th of January, 11am to 3pm at the Holiday Inn Peterborough West, Peterborough, PE3 6SG. Come along with your friends and family for free goodie bags, free magazines, musicians, a huge bridal wear collection and up to 60 exhibitors. It's a great way to start 2018. Pre-register at truly-scrumptious-weddings.co.uk. East Meets West Wedding Show, Sunday the 14th of January, 11am to 3pm, Holiday Inn, Peterborough West.
Feel like some great tasting chicken tonight? Great meal deals, wraps, burgers and sides. We've got it all at Chicken Palace. Call and collect at 302 Lincoln Road on 01733 702 447 or 8 Park Road on 01733 343750. Chicken Palace, open 11am till late.
Do you have lots of clutter at home or in the office that needs to be kept but nowhere to keep it? Ivet Self-Storage offers a secure, affordable, clean and dry home for your belongings. We have security systems in place which are monitored 24 hours a day, ensuring that your items are safe. With a simple monthly payment, Ivet Self-Storage provides secure and tailored facilities to meet your specific requirements, whether short or long term. We offer the best prices and longest opening hours in Peterborough. For more information, please call on 01733 306 456 or visit us at Ivet Way, Westwood.
Do you like the idea of being a radio presenter? Have you got a great idea for a show? Why not get in touch with us? We are always looking for enthusiastic, committed and professional individuals to join our team of volunteer presenters. Send us an email to info@salamradio.co.uk and we'll be in touch. You could be on air sooner than you think.
140 million children around the world today are orphans, living with no hope of a future or an education. For just 50 pence a day, you can transform an orphan's life and give them the secure future they deserve. Call 03000 11 11 11 now or visit www.pennyappeal.org. Penny Appeal, small change, big difference.
Is your child spending too long on their tablet or games console? Are they getting enough exercise? How about introducing them to wrestling? Futua Freestyle Wrestling Club is the only wrestling club in the Peterborough area registered to the British Wrestling Association. Wrestling is a prophetic sunnah sport that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions regularly participated in. Wrestling at a young age helps with flexibility, fitness, self-confidence and teamwork. Our sessions are taught by a top British wrestling coach with over 20 years experience. Every Monday and Wednesday at the Gladstone Park Community Centre on Borge Boulevard, 5:30 to 6:40 p.m. for ages 4 to 7 and 6:45 to 8 p.m. for ages 8 to 13. Monthly fees are only £10 for 8 classes ages 4 to 7 and only £15 for 8 classes ages 8 to 13. Your first session is free, so come and give us a try. To enrol, contact 07971 448847. Futua Freestyle Wrestling Club, every Monday and Wednesday at the Gladstone Park Community Centre.
This is Salaam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Assalamu alaikum listeners, welcome back to Friday Night Prime. I'm Ahmed Suleiman, your host on this weekly show. Unfortunately not with Brother Faisal Mahmood this week. I'm feeling a bit lonely without him actually. Brother Faisal, I hope you're back next week, inshallah. We're joined now this week with Ivan Humble and Hayan Baba, who've been telling us fascinatingly about this tour commemorating the Muslim contribution in World War I, and I hope you've been enjoying that and listening attentively to all the information that's been shared. And we're going to now kind of change track a little bit and talk about your background, if we can, and the work that you do. Ivan, if we can start with you. We've spoken a few times about this, but I think we've got more listeners on board since then. I think it would be good just to briefly kind of share your story again. So I gave a brief intro at the beginning, but if you can tell our listeners a kind of personal version of your story from EDL to, more importantly,
to where I'm now.
Yeah, what you're doing now, I think is really crucial.
Well, I left EDL in 2014.
Yeah.
Just got on with my life really. Just got a job which I didn't have before, so I started working.
Yeah.
And I suppose about 4 or 5 months after that, I started getting bored and missing the EDL to a point.
Okay.
But I don't think I was missing the movement. I was missing the brotherhood, the mates I'd met in there.
The camaraderie.
Yeah, because
and all that.
whatever people say with the labels, not everybody in there was bad.
Right.
It's just normal people like me, just with anger and frustration.
Yeah, sure.
So I started missing them, but then I didn't want to go back to that way of doing things again, because I guess my personal life had improved to what it was back in 2009. So I then got in touch with the Suffolk Hate Crime Service at the time.
Okay.
And luckily for me, I guess, they took a risk with me, because against police advice saying I was a risk, and it's because of the EDL label, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they sort of told the police, no, we're going to give them a chance.
Right.
So I did a couple of workshops with them with autistic people, and sort of found my feet a little bit. I found another way to do things.
Right.
That where I thought I was making a difference before, I weren't seeing the difference I was trying to create. Now,
yeah,
with the talks and interacting with people, creating safe spaces, and having that general debate and just simple conversation with people, it breaks down a lot more barriers.
Right.
And it's sort of, there's two sides to every story, but
there is.
On Facebook, social media, you only hear one side.
Yeah.
It depends whatever echo chamber you're in.
No, that's a very valid point. Very valid point. So, I know now for a fact, I know you personally, and you do some amazing work with your own organisation and others like Me and You. And
yeah, I've been doing a lot with Me and You.
So
I'll just touch on that quickly. With Me and You, Ifan, Christy, Dave, and the lads there, I met them. See, a lot of my stories by chance, Emmy.
Right.
I was doing a bit of work, and I took a lad up from Yarmouth to the Manchester Mosque.
Okay, yeah.
Give him the chance I had. Sat him down. No, we had a tour of the mosque, had some food because it was Ramadan. We then sat around a table with a few Muslim brothers.
Yeah.
And we had a heated debate for 40 minutes to an hour where nobody judged each other. We had open and honest, you could say what you want kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So after that, we shook hands and went for a curry down Curry Mile or whatever. But for Dean, it gave him that other side of the picture.
Right.
I'm not saying now he's totally changed his views. Like me, I've still got some views.
Okay.
But he's not stereotyping people anymore because he's seen, for years and years in this country, the wrong Muslims had the platform.
Right.
And because people like Chowdhury has had that platform for so long, we forgot that there's normal Muslims out there. Just like I talk about the normal angry and frustrated people, by not labelling them, I was guilty of stereotyping all Muslims, but by talking to people like Hayan or Riaz even, anybody like that,
sure,
you get the personal story and you're guaranteed to find common ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we forget that because the wrong Muslims get the...
Well, you mentioned Anjem Chowdhury, who was unfortunately given the platform by the media, right? They put him up there and said, this guy represents Muslims, which he clearly did not.
For 15, 20 years, look at the damage he's done.
Yeah.
And we're still trying to repair the damage he's done.
Absolutely.
You start getting somewhere, and then ISIS come out of nowhere, which has changed the ball game.
Right.
Where, like, the EDL was against Al-Qaeda, that threat, which was valid, and at the time, I still believe that the EDL was valid for the first 3 years.
Yeah.
Because we highlighted everything.
Right.
But the people we were standing against, Chowdhury and his mob, they were either in prison, gone to Syria, or died in Syria.
Yeah.
So when ISIS come along, I'd left the EDL by then, then ISIS, you've got this whole new ball game, which is a lot, it's in the media everywhere.
Right.
It's not like Chowdhury on one channel.
Yeah.
This is every channel,
everywhere.
every newspaper.
Absolutely.
And people you just kind of get, I don't know if the word's conform, you kind of, with paper and media and all that, you kind of condition what to think.
Yes. And
you don't really, like for me when I was in my hometown, you take it for face value.
Yeah. And
you can't really do that nowadays. You've got to, I suppose I guess I'm getting older, you see things differently when you get older. And this us and them narrative doesn't need to be there as much.
Right.
But it's just by talking to people and helping to bring people together.
Yeah, I think the us and them narrative is actually just solidified when people remain in the same echo chamber.
Yeah.
Because then they're preaching to the converted.
True.
They sort of solidify their beliefs and views of the world.
And you said, like for me, I wouldn't say I was radicalised or green by anybody, but being in an echo chamber, I subconsciously brainwashed myself.
Yeah.
So nobody's to blame for me, the path I took apart from myself.
Right.
Because I bought into that, only because that's all I was reading.
Sure. But then, by the same way, in the same way, you actually turned the corner and changed your ways.
The only way I changed my ways was by luck again. I had a chance meeting with a Muslim guy in 2012.
Yeah, of course.
And like I said before, he's a white guy.
Yeah.
So talking to him, I didn't see that big Muslim label above his head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was a white guy. So I spoke to him for a while. But then I met Manwar Ali, who everybody knows his background. And
of course.
He's brown skin, he's got the big beard and everything.
Yeah.
So when I met him, he was the only person on my journey that said to me, Ivan, sit down there, let's have a talk.
Yeah.
And he let me say, just like Ifan did in Manchester with Dean,
right.
I could say anything I wanted. He never judged me, didn't look down his nose at me.
Yeah.
And a Muslim guy was giving me respect. So once again, I found common ground with Manwar really quick.
Yeah.
Because he was everything I stood against in my eyes.
Yeah, of course.
So he understood, I guess, my hatred of my mindset.
He changed his ways as well himself.
Yeah, and
in a big way.
And like, I always say it, and he don't like me saying it, but he's like a father figure to me now.
Yeah, yeah.
Not in the way that, I don't know, because I lost my dad to cancer.
Yeah.
I did start suffering a little bit with my mental health kind of thing.
Sure.
I started getting depressed, but he gave me that little nudge I needed.
Yeah, yeah.
And he sort of keeps me on the straight and narrow. So if I struggle, he's always there with. He's such a knowledgeable man, and
he really is. He really is.
And he just knows what to say to me.
Oh, that's good. So you've got a solid connection there, right?
Oh yeah, I've got a lot. Actually, to be fair, I've got a lot of solid connections with a lot of Muslims now.
I know you have.
And that's like I said before on a radio interview I did before.
Yeah.
I'm 47 years old. I was 42 years old when I met my first Muslim.
Yeah.
Or knowingly met one and interacted with them.
Mm.
I probably met them in the kebab shop, but they haven't got
different.
See, that's different because they haven't got the Muslim label. They're selling you food.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you don't see it like that.
Yeah, of course.
And that's the thing. Labels. You take that label away.
Yeah.
And we're just people.
I love how refreshingly honest you always are, Ivan. I think
It's the best way to be. I can sit there and be scripted all day long and.
No, you always speak from the heart, and that always comes
And that's the
through.
only way. That's how you make difference.
No, absolutely, and I think you connect with a lot of people that way, and I know that's how you and I have connected as well. There's just a few comments on Facebook that have come in. I'm reading them out a bit late. So Shanaz Musafa said this was during the first half of the show. He said very interesting and educational. Who would have known? In terms of the diversity of the soldiers, so that was from him, and also he also says good job, well done, guys. Sister Kimberly, who's always listening. I know she's, I think, a Facebook friend of yours.
Yeah, she is. Yeah,
she mentioned. I'm trying to find it where it's gone now. It seems to have disappeared. Forgive me, sister. But I think it was something like, I remember reading. She says, "Fantastic work that you always do, and keep up the good work." She has a message to you.
Yeah, thank you, Kimberly.
So there are a few people listening. Please do keep the comments coming, or you can give us a call if you've got views on what's been discussed. 01733 602 133, or if you want to WhatsApp 07745 278 978. Hayan, can we move to you?
Yeah, sure. I think I think what the point very quickly.
Yeah.
Another shameless plug, but I think what Ivan has just said about how learning and knowing somebody who's different to you in their background, religion, or culture, or whatever. That's part of the ethos as to why we do the World War I project.
Got it.
So a lot of people ask us, quite annoyingly, they'll say, "Oh, but what about the Hindu contribution? What about the Sikh contribution?" Well, of course, our view is commemorating those is great. We're just focusing on this at the moment.
Yeah.
But the main point is,
and I will say as well,
bringing them together.
Yeah,
you create understanding between people and find common value. And I think Ivan's example of how he met with Manwar and others is how that actually happens in practice.
Yes. And to be fair on the guys don't just talk about the Muslims either. They talk about
the Chinese,
the white guy. They talk about the Chinese. They talk about
South Africans.
Everybody's included. It's not just. It is Muslim based,
of course,
but they still
talk about everyone.
They talk about everybody because back then, I guess the brotherhood I sort of found a few years ago, they had that all day long.
Yeah,
they needed each other, so they relied on each other.
Right.
So the us and them just didn't really exist.
No. No, it really.
And 100 years on, look at the situation we're in now.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
It's just.
So it's a lesson to learn from today, how we behave with each other and respect each other and get to know one another.
It's just about talking. Yeah. That's like with the Me and You education, how that come about. It was just because I met Ifran up there and all that.
Yeah.
It's the Me and You brand is just starting that conversation.
Right.
It's about. I work with a Muslim guy, so it's the two voices, one approach. So you give them both sides of the story.
Yeah.
But you're agreeing on it. Me and FM, me and you, Emma. We'll never agree on everything.
No, of course not.
But we've got common ground, and that's where that's the foundations to build on.
It's all, as you say, it's all about dialogue. And if we're not talking, it's why we have. You've been to our open days right before. We've got another one coming up. Shameless plug. Yeah. We've got another one. We've got another one coming up at the mosque on Cromwell Road, Masjid Khadija, on the 18th. Part of the visit my mosque.
18th, or is it the 20th?
It's the 18th of February. Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at something else.
Yeah, definitely the 18th.
Big what I've.
I should know I'm organising it.
That's where we're on.
But it'll be good if you fancy popping in again. It'll be great to have you there. But let me know if that date works for you. We'll take that off air. Hayan, so I gave a brief intro to you at the beginning. I'm just going to quickly run over parts of that again because there's some very interesting pieces there. I mean, the all-party parliamentary group on Islamophobia, the same on British Muslims, and the cross-government anti-Muslim hatred working group. First of all, how did you get involved in them? how do you have the time, and what does it involve? I mean, what is your input in these groups?
They're very valid questions, actually, and sometimes
far too many at once. Yeah.
Okay, how did I get involved? Right, I was working in the House of Commons at the time. I was lucky enough to be in the right place.
Right.
I was working as a researcher to a nearby MP here, for Nick Bowles, and he was involved in the former APPG.
Okay.
And he had taken a step out of it, and I had sort of approached the other members at the time who were APPG members. So that was Jack Straw, Simon Hughes, and a few others. And I just said, sort of stuck my neck out and asked if I could run the group as a volunteer. And so while I was working in Parliament, I did that for about 4 years.
Right.
And then after the election, we re-established the APPG, renamed it to the APPG on British Muslims.
Okay.
To broaden that work.
Right.
And during that time, I then got involved in working with policy officials and advising ministers in the departments, and then sitting on the anti-Muslim hatred working group.
Okay.
So it kind of all sort of fell into my lap.
Right.
And I guess I just got on with it in a very ad hoc, sporadic way. But you know.
And what's your experience been working in that sort of environment and getting involved in these groups? I mean, do these groups make a difference? I mean, candidly,
Yes.
They do.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
I mean, I think people always expect people to shout about all of the achievements that people make, especially in politics. You know,
Right,
politicians
of
like
course.
to talk about what they do and the
Yeah.
achievements that they make. At the beginning, we agreed that we would just quietly get on with things and just have the conversations, make the meetings happen between the right people, policymakers, ministers, police officers, whoever needed to be in these conversations. And we would just get on with the work and avoid the fanfare.
Sure.
And I think that was very helpful, because otherwise, if we drew attention to the work that we were doing, we'd get an unwanted attention from people like Ivan.
And we don't want that, right?
I'd probably have something to say.
No. But you know what I mean. So we just cracked on with it, and then eventually, the latest thing was the current members of the APPG got funding for this new APPG, and we set that up, and they worked on the first report, which was a very merry Muslim Christmas, which was a very successful first launch report launch event.
Okay.
And I think we were trending #1 on Twitter as well that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Twitter user.
Is that the thing where Hif's doing that in?
That's right. No, because Hif's, she did something else. One of our colleagues. She did something else. She did a video documentary using the same hashtag. And then that's what it's been to, and then but also sometimes a lot of this work can be quite taxing, because a lot of it is reactive.
Right.
Naturally, because sometimes it could be off the back of, say, an attack on a place of worship or a terrorist attack.
Sure.
And then there's a frenzy in the media.
Always.
Or there's a backlash in the communities, because then you've got tensions between communities. Or if there's conflict in the Middle East, you've got tension typically between Muslims and Jews all over the world, not just in the UK.
Sure.
And so that means things happen in the middle of the night, and then you've got to be up all night figuring out what's going on. Sometimes you're there on the ground, or you're in touch with people, so that you can keep either policymakers updated, or you can keep parliamentarians updated the following morning. So it's fun and frustrating, because sometimes it feels like you're taking 10 steps back quietly, and then something big happens, and then 10 steps forward. And then you take 20 steps back.
Frustrating.
And I think it takes a certain type of person to do that work, someone who's probably a bit mad.
So what keeps you going? I mean, what's the driver? What's the motivation there?
Honestly, when I first got involved with it, I used to think, right, I'm going to keep doing this because I think there are too many people who would make a mess of it.
Okay.
And not in an arrogant way. It was it was more. I don't believe that there are, and I still believe this. I don't believe that there are enough of Muslims or anybody else involved in the kind of discussions, or at a policy level, or at a politics and government level.
I agree.
Who are either involved, whether it's because they are not interested or they don't get approached to get involved in these conversations.
Okay. Yeah.
So I kind of felt like it was a duty. I was in the right place. I thought, I'm rubbing shoulders with some of the most powerful people in the world.
Of course.
Why not try and make a difference and influence them? And we got a few things done, thankfully.
No, that's great. It's absolutely wonderful. a quick comment from, I'm assuming a relation, Humera Baba.
That's my sister. Yeah.
Okay, so she says, "This is for you, Ivan." She hasn't commented for you.
Yeah, no, well, that's all right.
She says, "Ivan, your experience is so inspirational. The presenter is right. That's myself. You speak with your heart, and as a viewer, I feel that. Salaam, my brother."
Thank you.
That's great. But she's so right. I mean, yeah, you can take that with her when you see her. Yeah, keep the comments coming in, listeners, please. It's really important for us to gauge your feedback and your opinions as well, because we're just three people having a chat here. It'd be great to get more people's opinions on the topics we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, so you're involved in a lot of things, and so you work in London, right? So you're
That's
there
right,
the whole time. And do you have any kind of ambitions in your field of work to do more than what you're doing now? I'm assuming you do, and if you do, what are those ambitions? What are the big milestones you want to achieve and the big changes you want to see happen?
I think that, I find that as like a really difficult question to answer, because I'm kind of going through that myself now again, sort of figuring out what I do next and how I do it. But I think, I mean, I'm definitely right now focusing on raising the awareness of the World War I project, because we've not got long until the centenary is over.
Okay.
I think it's a conversation we're going to be talking about for the next 50 years because of the amount of information we've found.
Yeah.
And so I'm focusing a lot of time on this right now. But in terms of I mean, I don't know. I think we live in a time where, as we've seen, things are changing. The goalposts are changing.
Yeah.
We're more divided, and I don't think that there's going to be a quick fire solution or a narrative to address these things, because at the moment it's like a wildfire.
Sure.
And I think
just keep chipping at it.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it.
That's the only way, right?
We're just
chipping away.
Absolutely.
It's just planting seeds, so to speak. Just give people that other thing to think about.
Yeah. Because and it's it's like these things. There isn't a constant. You know, for a couple of years, Anjem Chowdhury was the big person everybody wanted to talk to. You know, tomorrow it would be somebody completely different.
Yeah.
And we'll be battling with that narrative constantly. I mean, I do think, and I do hope that my work will always be in this kind of area.
I would hope so, because to be honest, it's reassuring, I can say, for us Muslims to find that there's capable individuals like yourself doing great work, clearly great work. And that goes for you as well, Ivan, right? Because, I mean, I've said this before. I don't need to say it, but I'll say it again, because even off-air we've talked about this. It's not just for the airwaves, but it really is reassuring that you're out there combating all forms of extremism and, religious hate as well.
And that's why I decided all forms. I couldn't just target one, because I don't know, I couldn't just target. I've been targeting Islamists for years through my past life, but then I started tackling the far right and the extreme far right now. But then I've got a bit of a heart to the. There's lots of people out there that are drawn into this, not for the wrong reasons, but for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But it get masked by other agendas.
Yes.
Because they're not being listened to. We need to. I don't know, mass radicalisation, I guess, but we need to start sending people down. Not just like the safe spaces we create in schools and colleges that we've been doing. We need to venture out of our comfort zones and and maybe put on something big with. Bring people to the table.
Yeah.
Let them have that discussion.
But how do you do that? How would you bring those people in that's so needed? I mean, how do you attract them in?
Ask them.
Yeah, I think.
I think you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I know for a fact. I don't like to talk about groups, but Britain First, I know for a fact that a friend and associate of mine has made that contact with them to offer them the chance to speak to Muslims.
Right.
I knew the Muslim guy they were going to speak to, but they're not. They replied back, "We don't want us to talk to Muslims."
Yeah.
If you've got that attitude, you're not going to get nowhere.
No.
And then in defence, I see this concerns them in defence, but people like Tommy Robinson, people slate him quite a bit. The one thing about that boy is he's prepared to sit down and debate.
Right.
But he hasn't had the chance to debate with the right people yet, I think.
I think it's a combination of that, and I think I mean, I don't know him, but I mean, I've come across him a couple of times, but I think he was also quite two-faced, isn't he? So like in private, he seems a lot more palatable.
Yeah.
And then in public, but I think he's got this persona. He's got to play it. Not that I'm defending him.
Yeah, I'm not defending him either. But when the EDL started, we had genuine concerns.
Yeah.
But we were labelled far-right extremists.
Yeah.
So some people, even I did to myself, you start living to that label because nobody's giving you that chance to not. So you think, in the end, you just think, do you know what? I'm just going to live to that label.
Yeah.
You don't really want it in your back of your mind, but nobody's giving you an extra option.
Sure.
And until we get people around the table, people are still going to be arguing.
But I think how we do that, is quite important. I think those conversations really have to be. Yeah, first you've got to ask the people who want to be involved in that question, because if you just put who you think are the right people, they might not be the most passionate people. You've got to have people in that conversation who will tell you things that will challenge you, who will tell you things that will put you on your feet and make you think. Reconsider your own position, whether you think you're on the right side or the wrong side of a particular argument.
You don't want a room full of yes men, right?
That's right.
No, but it's got to be open and honest debate as well.
And I think, but I do think that a debate has to happen privately first, because we live in a time now. Whereas if you did something like that publicly, rightfully people will be outraged, right? But then I think that
they'll miss the point.
People will miss the point, and then you get into this debate about whether you should no platform or whether no platform is wrong.
Chowdhury had that platform for 15 years when nobody moaning about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, communities were. Because of how it was being portrayed.
Yeah, but nobody else. Do you know what I mean? The bigger people. The people that needed to moan weren't.
Yeah.
So why can't we give these people a little bit of a platform? Just, I'm not going to say you could challenge their views, but you've got to give people that chance to have that talk.
Yeah. Sure.
It's all about if you don't break down a barrier, you build a wall.
That's true.
But you need that bridge to cross.
Yeah, I think dialogue is so important, as you know as well. Dialogue is such an important thing Islamically as well.
Absolutely.
As a practice and as a principle to reach to achieve peace and a common ground. But also I think you've got to know when not to have it with the right people. And I think people like Tommy Robinson have had enough opportunities. He's had both private and public platforms, conversations and debates with some good people, some bad people.
Yeah.
And whatever, but then he's gone on to do worse things later. I think publicly. I mean, you know him.
Yeah, I know different sides. I mean, I've seen different sides. I mean,
but I mean, how many chances do you give somebody like that? Because
to be fair, for me, I've had a few chances given to me. So you've got to give people.
Yeah.
Even if it's a second or third chance, you've got to give them.
Isn't it the case though with someone like Tommy Robinson, not specifically him, but people like that? You say you've got to give them a chance, but he doesn't strike me as a type of person who wants to be given a chance.
Trust me, I reckon he would sit down and debate with anybody, but it's got to be the right people to debate with.
Yeah, but why has it got to be the right people? Why isn't it? Why can't it be someone off the street who's got an opinion? Why have we got to put someone?
Because a lot of these people are saying things that Muslims are saying.
Yeah,
it's not just the normal Muslim off the street saying it. It's people with some have got authority, some have got power. They're the ones that needs to be brought to the table. The people that are saying it.
Yeah.
I could put loads of good Muslims up to speak to people like that.
Yeah.
It's got to be the people that are saying it.
Right.
Because this is why I talk about a little bit of denial in the Muslim community. Some of them people will defend that person.
Right.
Because it's how they think. I'm not having a go at Muslims there.
No.
But just I'm trying to be delicate about it.
Of course.
But there is elements of the Muslim community that are in denial about certain issues.
Maybe. I think there's so many. I mean, I'd always use the word communities.
Yeah.
We fight amongst each other, right?
Yeah,
we're so different, but we're also so diverse as well. That's a beautiful thing too. We're not just always at each other's throats.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think we've got challenges within our communities, inwardly as well as outwardly. But I also think that. There are some people who claim to speak on behalf of Muslims in the UK that don't help. That then, that often pander to difficult arguments, and I think that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
And that's kind of what we've seen a lot recently. But I hope that changes soon.
Brothers, thank you so much for joining us this week. It's been fascinating. I wish we had more time.
And
we don't. It did go quick. Thank you for listening, listeners. Please stay tuned next week, 9 p.m. same time. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
The Truly Scrumptious Group presents the East Meets West Wedding Show, a free event on Sunday the 14th of January, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Holiday Inn Peterborough West, Peterborough, PE3 6SG. Come along with your friends and family for free goodie bags, free magazines, musicians, a huge bridal wear collection and up to 60 exhibitors. It's a great way to start 2018. Pre-register at truly-scrumptious-weddings.co.uk.